Okay, the next critical ingredients in our project are a pool noodle, and I've just got it for $1 at Walmart. I got a pool noodle that I've cut in half, as well as some pantyhose, pieces of pantyhose. We're going to use these as ties. And what I want to do is come down to the end of my fiber, stick the pool noodle in. We're actually going to be, if any of you have ever rolled a jelly roll before, basically that's what we're going to be doing. We're rolling up our fiber fairly loosely until I get to the edge that we haven't been able to finish because it's a little bit too, the table was too short for us. And so now I'm going to real quick just finish off that part of the project so that I can continue on and successfully complete it. So I want to bring my fibers down to the very edge, and then we'll get those wrapped up in our little jelly roll too. Okay, let's get this thing done. Add a little more of my soapy water concoction. Flatten out the water into the fibers, make sure they're all where I want them to be, and finish rolling. I like to tuck up the extra tool so it doesn't get in my way. I just fold it on top of the wool. It doesn't bother me that way. Now I'm going to use the pantyhose that we've set aside to tie up my silk and my wool, do a hard pull, and then turn it the other way and pull again, and you won't need to worry about knots. Your pantyhose will stay in place nicely for you. I'm going to pull hard one way and then pull hard diagonally the other way. And I'm ready to start the rolling part of our felt making. Now we're ready to roll our fabric, and this is when we're really going to see these loose fluffy fibers turn into felt and start felting and migrating through your silk fabric. My tables are set up at a height that is very comfortable for me. Sometimes you will hear a felter complain about an aching back. I don't have that issue because I'm not having to bend over very low in order to do my project. I can stay at a height that's comfortable for me. So if you decide to move into felting, that's something for you to consider. And all that I've done to raise my table height is to cut off some PVC and pop it onto the bottom of my table so that it's raising giving me the extra 8 inches that I need. Okay? Now I'm ready to start rolling my felt. I'm going to place my hands centered on the fabric portion, and I'm going to gently roll forward and back. And each time I do that, it's 1 count. I want to do this very gently. I'm not exerting a lot of effort. 100 times. If I am too ambitious and aggressive with my movements, I will find that I will turn the merino into felt before it's had a chance to migrate properly through my fabric, and then I won't have the lamination or the melding of the two materials, the two fibers. Okay, so I'm going to do this 100 times. The other thing to consider in terms of comfort is there is a stance that many felters find comfortable. I have one leg in front of the other, and as I roll, I lean into the roll and back. So 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've done our first 100 rolls fairly lightly, and we're going to unwrap it and see how it's cooking. As we continue to roll, you'll notice that the fabric will actually be shrinking, and you won't have that issue with it coming off the table anymore. Now, when I first want to double check this fabric, you'll see that some of the fibers are adhering to the tool. Don't let that worry you. We're going to fix it. This is not yet turned into felt, and so it's wanting to migrate all over the place, and we just have to kind of beat it into submission and make it do what we want it to do. Okay, once we get it started, it's fairly easy. Oops. You can see here I've actually pulled off a big chunk of my fiber, and I want to lay that back down. I don't want to lose it. It's not felted yet. We're not going to have any difficulties and turning that into felt, but we want to capture it and lay it back down in the manner that we'd like it to see it. Okay. Other than that little snafu at the beginning, my fibers have not migrated away from the position that I want them in, so that's all good. I'm going to do a little bit of touch up where some of the wool has kind of folded over on itself. I'm going to separate it a bit. My most important consideration at this point is to make sure that I have fiber on all of the edges. And by fiber, I'm talking about the wool top, of course. I want to make sure that it's covering all of the raw edges of my silk. And you can see that it is. It hasn't fallen off the side of the fabric at all. So all is well. I'm going to play with that one edge a little bit and get that looking good, because now by the time we do our next 100, we're going to be exerting more pressure and we're really going to be trying hard to get that felting process in full swing. So now I know that everything is looking the way I want it to look. I'm going to very quickly lay the tool back on top. Here's another piece of wool that I found. I'm going to put it on a spot that's a little bit lacking. Okay, let's lay our tool back down and get this project going.